Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of Blu Ray Hunter Reviews. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and we got a little fun show for you guys today. I decided since the first movie I did for my horror film lovers, first time watch Friday was a slasher, decided to make this one also a slasher and one that I'm really been excited to check out at some point. I got this copy from Jessa Flux, who actually sent me, you know, basically autographed it and everything. I'm really happy with that. Really thought that was really sweet of her. She's in the movie as Paige, and I'm gonna try not to spoil stuff or whatever because I know it's not really even out. It's out. You can actually buy this, I think, online and everything, but it's not, you know, available everywhere. I don't think it's on Tubi yet. I'm hoping that sometime it does go on Tubi. But I got the Blu-ray. So I got this Blu-ray. It's got no special features, and that's the thing that sort of annoyed me was it looked like there was like a special feature, and there's gonna be in my Blu-ray Hunter reviews, we are gonna be talking about the Blu-ray itself. Um, so the problem I had with it was like there was it sort of said that there was another menu option thing. I went to it and it all it did was tell you that it had like I said, like setup. You went to it and it's only one thing to set up. It was almost felt like they didn't really even need that. They just needed a thing to say play and you can just play it. I don't know if they did that, the company that put this out. I'm not sure who put this out. Cine Savage Films, and Scrode 78 Films. I'm guessing that is Hayden Newman's site. So interestingly enough, this movie was I don't know, it seemed like a labor of love. I know they did like an Indiegogo or a couple maybe Indiegogos for it. They got Kathy Podwell from Dallas in the movie. They got Jessa Flux, as I said. There's Jeremiah Steiner. There's Jonah Vaughn and Adam Freeman. And there's a couple other people. It interestingly enough, it wasn't what I sort of expected. It's also co-written by Jake Zelch and Hayden Newman. Hayden co-directed with the what is it? That's another thing. Uh if you look at very carefully at at like stuff like this, it's very small print. It's really hard to read with that like stuff. So Sam Hodge co-directed the film with Hayden Newman, and boy did they do an interesting job together. Um I think my biggest problem with the movie itself, and this is just me being very critical of slasher films, is people are a big fan of slasher films, and I'm pretty darn sure Hayden Newman is a huge fan, so is Jake Zelch. But of slasher films, um they tend to do homages um or whatnot of films that they love. And it can sometimes get annoying when that happens because okay, so take for example, and this is not a spoiler or anything really, but there is an opening scene that's very reminiscent of a little movie called Scream. And uh and at first I was kind of like, all right, that this is their homage to Scream, but it kept going, with it on it in the opening. And I was like, uh-oh, this is definitely a little bit too much of that. There were like lines that were almost like direct, copies of the lines. Now, it's again, when you make an homage, it's one thing. When you completely go on, like I'll give you an example. They do use names like Prescott, which is obviously a reference to Sidney Prescott, and there's a couple other names that are very Shivers, it's from I Know What You Did Last Summer, and stuff like that. And so I get it. Like I get what they're trying to do. Shivers was actually, I believe, the name of and I Know What You Did Last Summer for the book or something, not the movie. I think the movie they might have called her Rivers, Helen Rivers or something. Or wait, nope, it's the exact opposite. My bad. I'm trying to remember, but I think they called it Shivers in the movie, and then in the actual book it was like Rivers. They wanted, I guess, make it sound different and scarier. I don't know. Uh, my favorite character, honestly, was just a Flux. Oh, and to go back to, I completely lost train of thought and went on a completely different tangent. What I was talking about was that you have those names. In the original Halloween movie, which they do homage at different times in this movie. In the original Halloween movie, there's Samuel Loomis, right? Which is the name of um the boyfriend in Psycho. Uh so like the boyfriend that the main woman likes, is with, his name is Sam Loomis. In uh they decided, I guess, John Carpenter and Deb um I'm blanking on names. John Carpenter must have loved that, loved Psycho so much because he put that name, and he also put a woman from the original Psycho in it. The I mean, she's in it. She's in the movies, or she's in a movie. He put the daughter of her in Halloween, and then cast them both together in The Fog. So I mean, things like that, like they do love, um, that kind of those homages. However, he did it sort of sneakily, where this movie is definitely like kind of too apparent and stuff. So sometimes that gets distracting when I've start noticing those things. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of that movie. And there's not many people who can pull it off. Like Tarantino rips off movies from other countries that not many people in America have seen, but other people in other countries are probably like, I remember that movie, that I remember that from that movie, and nobody would know. Um, we, when you do a movie like Scream, and those have been parodied, and those have been homaged for so long, that it just kind of becomes like, I would wish that you would do just something different. Now, they have the cool idea of the opening kill and the guys in the bathtub, and then it has to get out. And I really, really loved that this was an LGBTQ horror film. This was almost every character in this movie, aside from a couple, are in the LGBT community. Some bisexual, some lesbian, some gay, all this stuff, and everything. I really enjoyed that because um it just you don't see it as much anymore, especially not in the Hollywood mainstream stuff, because they're probably too afraid that they're just going to get one specific audience for it. When in doubt, the indie film scene loves that sort of stuff because they go further. My big problem with it is it really wasn't, other than just announcing the fact that everybody was an LGBTQ in the community, that somebody was in the community. They didn't really do anything else. It didn't feel like, a movie made for the LGBTQ community. It just felt like a movie that had those characters in it, and that was fine. But I kind of wish that they had. I don't know what they could have done differently, but there's things that I'm sure they could have figured out. So yeah, out of all of this, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed Paige. Thought she was a lot of fun. Wish there was a little bit more of her, because I feel like there was a little bit more backstory. She kind of kept talking about different things. Anywho, I mean, other than that, I really, really, really enjoyed this film, and I just wish that there was, there was more. Like there was an ending that's sort of ambiguous at the end and stuff of like obviously they've made a sequel, and part two is I don't think it's out yet, but it's I think it's finished. So I think I know it's set in Christmas time, so I don't know if they might just wait to release it for Christmas. Which I think, Christmas in July is always a cool thing. So who knows? But I would suggest checking that out. I would suggest checking this out. I mean, if you can find a copy of this, please do. It is a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be, really. I didn't know what to expect. So I really enjoyed it. And yeah, so thank you guys for checking this out. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys like this movie? Did you guys not like this movie? What is this something that you guys will constantly want to watch? I mean, um, you know, uh, what's the deal? So, thank you guys for checking this out and hope you enjoyed it. Bye.